My dad's mistress reached out to me after I stopped talking to him 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my family and I 24F found out that my dad 56M was cheating on my mom and had a mistress. My mom was absolutely devastated and took it extremely hard since they had been together for over 2 decades. The fact that his mistress was also a decade younger than her probably made her feel worse. They ended up getting divorced, and throughout the process, my dad continued to see his mistress. They actually live together now in a new house that my dad moved into after his cheating came to light. I know it was my mom that he cheated on, but I also felt very betrayed by him, and the fact that he went on to stay and live with the person he cheated with makes me feel like he has no remorse. I have not spoken nor seen my dad since he moved out. He has tried to reach out to me, but I haven't returned the favor. I know it's better to forgive, but I just can't look or think about him without feeling disgusted and upset. I know he's my dad, but I just can't. Yesterday, I got a message on Facebook from his mistress. I couldn't believe it was her. I actually stopped in the middle of the street. She wrote a long message basically saying that my dad was very sad over how our relationship had become and that he misses me terribly, especially now that the holiday season has arrived. She wrote that he had told her about how close him and I were when I was younger. She said that he would love it if I would try reach out to him or even visit him sometime soon. My dad and I did have a great bond growing up, and I miss that, but I don't know. One moment I'm thinking whether I'm being unreasonable and dragging this on for too long since it's been 2 years now. I have to move on at some point, right? But even if I do meet him, I don't think I'd be able to look him in the eye or even be able to have a conversation without it being awkward. I just don't have any respect for him, and I know that must sound awful since I'm his daughter. My closest friend told me that life is too short and that at the end of the day he is my father. Should I try to forgive him and reconnect with him? Update. First of all, thank you to everyone for the great advices. I apologize for not being able to respond to everyone. I posted it during my break at work and ended up taking a second shift right after my first one, so I did not come on here until much later. I ended up contacting my dad. I called him and told him about the message I received from his mistress. He said he didn't know she sent those messages, but that it is true that he deeply misses me. He asked if we could meet, and I told him that we could go for coffee, which he agreed to. When we ended up meeting, it was very awkward and tense. We exchanged a stiff hug before sitting down. He began to ask how I'd been and the first 30 minutes went all right. But of course the universe just has to be one big cosmic joke, because why else would his freaking mistress show up to the cafe out of nowhere? According to her, she just happened to be nearby and saw us through the window and decided to say hello. I honestly could not comprehend what was happening. It was one of those situations where something is so crazy and unexpected you actually cannot believe it is happening to you. My dad seemed surprised, but in a good way. He was smiling and talked to her all normal in front of me when it was just supposed to be him and I. I froze and felt like I couldn't think of anything. I'm one of those people who react after something happens instead of during the moment, so I ended up just sitting there in silence when she took a seat next to him. My dad tried to continue the conversation, but it just got so awkward and quiet that we kind of silently agreed to end our coffee meeting. He tried giving me a hug as we were leaving, but I just power walked away from the after giving saying a quick bye. I was honestly still shocked when I got home, but that quickly turned into anger. I do not believe that bogus story of hers, and the fact that she thought she could sell it to me makes me feel very insulted. I do not know if she just followed him there or if my dad was in on it, but either way, I am extremely disappointed in how he handled it. This was the first time we'd seen each other in 2 years. Why would he not want it to just be him and I? I wrote him a long message saying how disrespected I felt by the entire situation, and it felt like a setup. I told him that if he really cared about our relationship, he shouldn't have allowed his mistress to sit down and try to be part of what could have been the first step in rebuilding our relationship. I finished the message by saying that I do not want him to contact me again as long as his mistress is in the picture. That might seem very extreme or unfair, but that's honestly how I feel. Anyway, thank you all for the great advice, and thank you to those who shared their stories with me. I greatly appreciate it all.